to the Maldives. We are here today with Mr. Mouthy, aka Grayson.
And I'm Raquel, aka Mrs. Mouthy.
Yeah, and so today's episode. Oh, before we get into that, thank everybody for being here today. You know what I'm saying? If you're new with us, welcome. If you're not, what's going on? Welcome back.
Yeah.
All right, so today episode is entitled what? Lessons learned.
Lesson learned.
Lessons learned. Yeah, so we're gonna take a little dive into our past, talk about little things about our present, and then of course what we're looking forward to in 2025.
Yeah, the future is looking live.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah. I
sure.
already know we cooking over here
Yeah. Hey, baby.
already.
Mhm.
All right, so let's begin with the past.
Let's get
Let's talk
into
about
it.
how we met. You know, you want to go first, or you want me to take?
You can go ahead.
You want me to go ahead
I
from my
I, I
perspective?
feel very chill
Oh, you chill
tonight.
tonight?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool, cool, cool. So let me see where I want to start. I mean, I guess from the beginning, right? So
Yeah.
when we met, we were in I was in a long term, 8 year relationship. Um, and we met at the top of January 2024
Yep.
at a uh, trans retreat thrown by my godfather and his lovely wife
Let them
over there
cook.
at Black Trans Blessing. So shout out to y'all.
Ding, ding,
Um,
ding.
so I was living, a life of selfhood and coming out, being around other trans individuals. It was very new to me, but I was excited for the new venture. It was the first time I had really like been outside of that 8 year relationship with the family, the friends.
Mm-hmm.
First time just being on my own, and so I learned a lot about myself. Right, so during that time, there was I met you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we clicked.
Yeah.
Even though I was in a long term relationship, we really clicked as friends. You know, you really poured into me. You showed me uh this new way of thinking, new way of life, and I was just intrigued about who you were as a person, and we just really wanted to get to know each other. And so fast forward, get back home, and my ex partner noticed some behavioral changes. I was a little bit more happy. I was doing different things. So she questioned me about this about 2 weeks after I got back, and she pretty much, just asked me, what's going on? Who's the new person, new friend? And I literally told her who Raquel was, and I was honest.
Mm-hmm.
I told her. She asked me, "Do you feel like this person could be more than a friend?" And of course, I told her the truth, and I said yes. At that point, I proposed to both individuals because what I didn't want to do was um, not pursue a relationship with Raquel, and I also did not want to. I didn't know if I wanted to not be in a relationship with my ex partner, so I decided to open that relationship up and explore both things. Um,
What most people know as polyamory,
yeah,
right?
most people
So,
know it's polyamory, right? And like I said, this is my first time indulging in that type of
mm-hmm.
activity. Had no idea what that would bring for us or myself,
Yeah.
but just something that I felt like I had to do for the betterment of my future. And so,
Okay, so
um,
babe, can I give a little?
are
I'm
you
a,
gonna go back?
I'm a
Take it
piggyback.
back. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, go
because
ahead.
in my perspective, right, like every story has multiple dimensions depending on the character, and so for me, like you said, you were in a relationship. I thought, I was in something, but I didn't know what I was in.
Mm,
Take it back into December, 2 days before Christmas. Most people who had followed me had saw my house get destroyed by someone who I was well known to. This was the person who what's my what I would have called my first love, or
yeah.
as we know, puppy love, right? Um, I figured out if you hit me while I'm in Jamaica, I'm at this point where I'm healing, I'm enjoying life. You must be ready. Like one of the things that we had an issue with was you not really being comfortable with openly dating a trans person. And
Mm,
so for me, it was like if you coming back damn near 10 years later, you still know I'm very out and proud and you must be ready. And this is somebody who I've always thought we would end up together, but you got to account what's attracting. If you're a healing
Mm,
spirit or you're a healing soul, you're attracting broken people. And so coming into that, that's why I ended up going to the retreat, because I was trying to heal the part of me that was just broken by somebody who would hurt me, right? Like, you love this person, you familiar with this person, and not accounting how important mental health is
right.
when you enter into a relationship. But really, y'all know those homosexuals
Mm,
who,
talk about it.
you know, you with them because they with you, or you with them because of housing instability. And
Right.
so it looked different on different scales. But go ahead.
Oh, continue. Where was I anyway?
You was we at the point where we talking about polyamory, and
Oh, I
so
like polyamory. Right, right, right.
it
And
was new
so,
for all of us.
right, and everybody agreed,
Hmm.
right, that we would try these things out and see where it would lead us. And it was definitely a challenge, right? So, I had one partner who I was trying to see if a trauma bond could turn into true love, and then I had another partner, which I am with today, just figuring out, you know, who I am and where I want to be, and figuring out new love, because this
Yeah.
is a type of love that I never felt before,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
if we
and
could even be anything, right?
right,
Like,
yeah,
I think we were
exactly,
still in
yeah,
the development stages of trying to figure out
you
what's
right,
this worth pursuing
you right,
full time. Because I'm not gonna hold you. I never experienced polyamory myself, and I didn't necessarily come into the ideal of wanting to be something full time. Like, I thought I was about to be like the cleanup woman, or the woman who, you know, just add that little spark back into what y'all may have had going on.
I feel
Because
that,
anybody coming into a situation, people always equate time over substance, and sometimes that be the demise of a lot of relationships, because you think because you put these times in, you don't want it to go to waste.
right, right, right,
Yeah.
yeah, and so. I thought everything was going pretty well. I was in counseling with both individuals, um, and then things changed. Uh,
What changed, baby? What had changed?
there was a lot of old behaviors that I was noticing in my ex partner that I did not like, right? And so once I started changing for the better, once I had a person
Mm-hmm.
that was pouring
Mm-hmm.
into me in the ways that I need to be poured into, uplifting me, giving me different tools, teaching me how to communicate effectively, being patient with me. I started loving myself a little bit more, right? And as I
Yeah.
started loving myself a little bit more, uh, the other partner didn't know who that person was, right?
Yeah.
And so we realized that we were growing, but we were growing apart.
Yeah.
And another thing, what I started to see was how our behavior would affect our children.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in order to protect them, I knew that I had to start choosing myself, put myself first, and going on a journey that was going to be healthy and efficient for all of us in the long run.
Yeah, and so also too, it's just one of those things where anybody in any form of a relationship, I think you have to be aware of yourself. Self-awareness is important, but also you have to know who you're dealing with.
Oh
So
yeah.
from the day that we met, I was already aware of who you were. Never with the intentions that we would be here.
Mm,
I'm thankful that we here, but um I didn't look for that to be the thing, because I wanted to make sure that I heal. And one of the things that I told you was like, I really want to like you as a person. Like, I want to know that
you
I
did.
like you as a person. I want to do this differently, if anything, right? Like,
Hmm.
and you came with your truth. You came very much so your truth. And like, knowing him in the beginning, the version of who I ultimately have now is not the person I met. I seen him very broken. I seen the
That's
soul
real.
ties that he had to a toxic relationship, and the point when you not feel like you are deserving of more. I
Hmm.
couldn't even validate that I could give you more.
Right.
I just enjoyed every time that we started to connect, communicate, and it was something healing that was happening between the both of us. Like,
Hmm.
we both were creating a safe environment for us to talk about past traumas, talk about individual goals and ways in which we wanted to grow. And being honest, I think being in a poly relationship at that time and all of us being new to it, or at least for myself, it allowed me to feel safe in the process when everybody is in the newness together.
Right.
So
Yeah, yeah. And so, yeah, you're right, man.
yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, everything was new, and but then, like I said, I started saying old habits, and I had to choose me. And so, fast forward, right now we're here in the present, and we have faced a lot of challenges. We faced a lot of love. We faced a lot of light, and just new development. So, what do you see? How do you see our how are we going in our present right now?
Um, Presently we doing good. I think once we stop allowing people's opinions of us to shape our reality,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely had changed the ways in which we could show up for each other. I think if you don't be honest, like the biggest thing was I noticed it was hard for you and I to be honest about the things that was bringing up something for us, whether it was vulnerability, insecurities, whatever it was. But then when you recognize that this person is not going anywhere despite your shortcomings or the things that you're afraid to say, hey, like, I'm not really that strong in,
Mm-hmm.
you realize, like, oh, this person see me entirely. Because
Right.
it's one thing for somebody to see you when you at your best, but when you at your worst and that person can still pour into you. And you kept showing up. Even though I felt like you felt in moments may have not thought you were always what I wanted or what I needed, you still kept showing up. Where in hindsight, in the past, other people could have took that for granted. But me, I never glazed over your constant evolution of you wanting to be a better version of yourself.
Right.
And so presently it's like we never are afraid of accountability, being very honest and vulnerable, but also like loving each other through those moments where we just don't know if it's something that we could even fix. Like I
Right.
think we talk about that all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And speaking of that, I had to learn how to be honest with myself
Mhm.
before I could fully give myself to you
Yeah.
and what this relationship means for us.
Yeah.
Um, there were just a lot of bad habits that I had that I wasn't willing to face until I almost lost you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, that's real. And one of the things about our relationship that healed me and gave me more value in myself was we didn't lead with sex. I
Oh yeah,
know.
oh yeah.
Uh,
Talk about it.
yeah,
Come on, let's go back to that.
yeah.
Let's go back to that.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We didn't lead with sex, and for me, it was just important in that way because I did not want to do it the way I've always done it. It's like if you give somebody the
Same.
most sacred part of your body, and they don't see the value in it, or they haven't worked at it, how can I be mad when you treat me as if you treat others? Like it's
Mm,
okay to question, like, well, damn, if she gave it up to me on the first night, then she been doing this for the that may not be the case. I might
mm,
necessarily just think that you are that for me. But why will not my willpower or self-restraint allow me to get a little bit more discipline, sit in that and see what your real intention is? So that if ultimately we gonna end up being together, I don't gotta sacrifice my pussy in order to get there. I can
right,
wait and give it to you in the moment where you have earned it.
right. And that's one of the things that I valued about you, right? Like I never had to wait
Yeah,
or show restraint.
yeah,
A lot of things that a lot of my other relationships, it was basically like flirting, go straight to it, whether it's one night stand, but it's
yeah.
always was sex first, lusting.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, you taught me like patience,
Yeah,
and really questioning myself, like, what is my intent
yeah.
with you? Like, where do I see our future? And once you told me, I date to marry,
Yeah, period.
I date
That's
to
it.
marry. I
I,
said, wow, like this is I'm being challenged,
yeah, yeah,
and it's you got to do it. You got to
yeah.
step up right now, or you're gonna lose it. So I
And it was
stepped up.
something very honest about some people could look at it as escapism, right? But
Mm,
sometimes if your reality is just so horrible, you do need a lighter form of that. And no matter God, universe, indifferent, you will get exactly what you desire
yeah,
when you start to put your best foot forth. And I think the best step you could have ever done was start to every day that you subconsciously or unsubconsciously chose yourself,
Hmm.
you started to put yourself in those realities and that situation to
Yeah.
bring out the better part of you.
Thank you, babe.
Of
I
course.
appreciate you.
Of course. Yeah.
We still in the present. You want to ask me a question about the
Of
present?
course. In the present, right, there have been so many sides of me that you've been able to see, and we most presently, because also too, I've been in a long-term custody battle,
Oh,
and I'm not
okay.
going to shy away from that. That has been something that thankfully is now starting to come to an end, but you've got to witness
Uh-huh.
that in person, and a part of me in that, and now you understand kind of why my guards be up
Oh
so
yeah.
much when it came to love and men and all the
People in
things.
general,
Yeah,
right? Like what they capable of.
yeah,
Hmm.
and you'll just never know. But I guess presently, what part of me after seeing that did you recognize that you didn't know before?
Mm. What? Say that one more time. What part
Like
of you
what
that I?
part of seeing me in court and having to go through all this mess did you notice that you didn't see before? Because I really talk about them. I
Mm.
told you the first night we
Right.
met, like this is my
Right. Right. Right.
shit,
Right.
but
No,
yeah.
like I saw you as human,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I saw you as someone who was so used to being everything for everybody.
Hmm.
And I was so grateful for that moment that I was able to just be there for you in your most vulnerable moments.
Yeah.
Um in your growth, right? Uh I've witnessed you in a state of anger and rage, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand that until I was actually in the presence of a person who was trying to um break you,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, but you stood strong.
Yeah.
You kept your head held high, even when you went on that stand.
Yeah.
After having to endure everything that you heard, you know,
Yeah.
you were amazing. You know
Well,
what I mean,
thank
and you were
you.
able to, with all of the things that were against you, prevail.
Yeah.
And you never let the enemy take you from your throne
Yeah.
and dim your light.
Because I think that's the biggest thing is that you have taught me that too, is
Mm.
about people trying to get a reaction out of you and trying to get you in that light. But one thing that keeps you is faith. If you have faith
Hmm.
in all situations, no matter what your faith is, you
Absolutely.
hold it tight to be able to get through those hard moments or those difficult, because the enemy gonna come up against you in all
Hmm.
forms. It could be friendships, relationships, co-workers, um your own self-doubt, self-sabotage, those type of things. When you have the faith that, hey, you know what, I can make it through this, or when you know your truth. Like
Hmm.
at the end of all of it, I knew my truth.
Right.
Even in this situation, right? People will have their opinions of you. People will side with who they feel more indebted to,
Right.
and that's what you got to be okay with. Is
Right.
that you know your faith, you know how you come in to be a great person, you know the, as I always say, the substance of the man that you want to be.
Absolutely.
Um, and that's what taught me is that people could say a lot of things, but one thing I am is a damn great mom. And
Talk
and
about it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
gotta
dang,
let
let me
that be. Okay. Ting
I had to go
ting.
over there and dig.
Because at the end of it, the kids that we are raising, we do want them to have great examples of what love looks like. We want them to be able to have emotional intelligence, to be able to get themselves through difficult times,
Right.
and be able to vocalize. If you hurt, you hurt. It's okay. It's painful, but get the tools that you need to then start building a healthier version of yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was well said, babe. I
Thank
love
you. Thank you.
it.
The Mouthy's in the motherfucking building.
Okay, talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
So I got one more
Oh,
question
go
for you, baby.
ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay,
Ask
so
away.
present to the past. In what ways have you had did you ever know that you would get to this point of being the man that you are today?
No,
Okay.
like, well, it's both and right. I would say no at first because I was lost. Right,
Mhm.
I was just existing. I
Mhm.
wasn't living. I wasn't. I didn't know that I could reach new heights.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought that was it.
Mhm.
I believed in a philosophy of as long as I reach a better height than what my parents did. You know, I was a
Mhm.
homeowner. I went to the military. I did all these things. I reached these goals, and so I thought, you know, what I'm saying, I'm the
Yeah.
man. I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Um, but you never are. Um, change is always good,
Yeah.
right? Right. You can always learn something new every day.
Mhm.
Um, and I realized that the person I was neglecting was myself.
Amen.
Um, and so getting back to me, learning a new self care regimen, um, just really important to myself the way that I needed to be, and also strengthening my faith. I think that played a major factor in where I am today. And so yeah, once I started relearning these tools and just sitting within, um, yeah, I was enlightened and I
Yeah.
started making better choices. And so
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
now that I know where I'm at and where I'm going,
They say
yeah,
once
yeah,
you
yeah,
know better, you do better.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Um. All right.
What about
Future.
you? You want to answer that question?
Present. I think the thing about it was I always believe it's so crazy how God works because literally at the same time last year I was at my most vulnerable. I didn't know that my whole life was about to be wiped up and down. The crazy thing is people would think um that you adore certain things that you may not even do. It may not even be in your heart. So
Mm,
I don't anybody who knows me, I don't really like materialistic things. I love the thoughts behind gifts and moments and experiences.
intentionality.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't just go around just loving stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so that shit that got destroyed last year, you get that back and then some.
Yeah.
And so um to see how God has moved my life in such a way to be able to have new experiences, have new connections, heal in the proper way and not blame anybody else for me choosing that person.
Mm-hmm.
I chose him.
Right.
I didn't have to, but at the end of the day, I give God grace to just being like, thank you for getting me out of that situation,
Mm-hmm.
whole and healthy. It could have been worse. And also the people that I helped throughout my testimony, through my story of just saying like, it ain't right for no man to treat you like that indifferent. It's not justified. Even if there was a thing that happened that night that gave him that,
Mm-hmm.
it still was something that I wasn't deserving because like I've been reading that book, you know.
What's the book, baby? Let them
Okay,
know.
all about love, bell hooks.
Okay, get into it.
But it's just one of those things of learning that like love and chaos cannot
Mm-hmm.
exist at the same time, and we
Mm-hmm.
cannot confuse abuse as love. Period.
Absolutely.
Period. It's just not a thing. And so, too often, because we've grown up in these dysfunctional families in childhood, we like to believe that that is suggestible because these same people can hurt you, and then them the same people that you need. And
Right.
it's like, no, no, it's you need to go work on that
Mm-hmm.
because there's no way that you can love me and still hurt me
Mm.
at the same time. And
Right.
so to have you now and be in this place with you now where we're organically loving on each other and we working on goals and we aligned in a way that I've never been aligned with another person. Um, just let me know that God real and he was saving someone who was willing to do the work for me.
Ooh, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah. And I had to be willing to do the work to show up to be the woman for you.
Talk to me nice.
And will. And will.
So now can we get into the future?
Let's go. Let's get on this jet like the Jetsons.
All right. So futuristically, right?
Hmm.
Um, what do you see your plans for 2025 when it comes to personal, business, and anything else that you?
Yeah. So business wise, like it is up for. I want to evolve past Miss Mouthy, and that's why we are starting this venture with the Mouthies. As much as I do love that, having a transition between sponsorships and collaborations and not being funny in our community, you become a target. Like,
Mm,
like whether people like to admit it or not, they be mad at you for what they can't do or don't want to do,
mm,
but yet don't want to uplift you to get to where you should be properly, right? And so doing this for 4 years, going on 5, it's just like I want to do that, but I can do it at a smaller scale where I'm not stuck on taking things personal if it don't come out or yield in my way. But also this feel more natural. Like
Mm,
everything I do in the current state of my life and in my being. And so I am in love. I am in my soft girl era and I
okay,
love being here and it looks good on me.
it do.
And yeah. But also business wise, I do want to get into what it's like to rehab homes and have more things of that nature, interior design, just be more of a mogul and a
Mm,
boss in that regard and doing the things that feel more natural to my own talents. And still archiving people's stories. I want to do love stories.
okay.
I want to do documentaries. I want to do these things in a way that realistically let my creative juices flow. And then personally, I just I'm at a state now where I just want to look good,
Mm,
live good, and be good, right? Like those are the things that I just want to do. So I want us to grow and flourish together as a unit and then raise our children to be the best and make sure their needs are taken care of. But also personally, I don't know. I want to get more into aging into a mature woman, whatever that might look like.
mm,
Just in the way of this really feeling confident and going after all the things that I want to do. Like, I don't know whether I want to learn how to speak another language.
okay. Set some new goals and reach
Yeah,
them. Okay.
just really challenging the old form of myself because as much as I like the things that I accomplished last year,
Mm,
there was still a lot of time that was wasted and a lot of lax time and a lot of um self doubt that I just allowed unused opportunities to go to the wayside. So we not doing that no more.
yeah, we're not doing
Yeah, period.
that. For me, I would say personally, I just want to continue to grow, right? Grow
Hmm.
spiritually, financially, physically, mentally, uh, and while also being authentic to myself
Yeah,
and never wavering on who I am and who I and the man I am becoming.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I gotta get a lot of things in order, but with you on my side, I know that there's nothing that I cannot
yeah.
accomplish. So yeah, it's just getting back to um we're not even getting back to continuing to
Hmm.
build that foundation
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
going to set that legacy for our children
Yeah,
moving forward.
I think in that is something that most people don't, or maybe they do, I don't know, but I don't see it often being spoke on. That when you find your person,
Mm,
they really brings out the part of you that wants to be the best version of yourself. Like
right.
every day I wake up now with purpose and intention, and it's not to say like, damn, you needed him to do that, but it makes you that much eager. It's like,
Yeah.
I got to do this for us. And it make both of y'all want to put on because if you doing this, I want to be just right
Healthy
here.
competition.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we bringing out the best in each other. Boom, boom,
Absolutely.
boom.
Mhm.
Um, and that's what they say about equally yoked. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it just makes sense when it makes sense.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
didn't like meet on coincidence. It wasn't. It was already divinely written, and it's
Right.
here.
So
Yeah.
grateful for that.
Per.
And then I did my business
Hmm.
wise. I'm going back to school for business. So yeah, clap it up for me.
Proud of you.
And so with that, now I did have a business that I ran successfully, and now it's time for me to move on and venture off into new things. And
Yeah.
so I just want to take the Mouthy to a new level,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm definitely stepping out of my comfort zone. As other people may know, like I'm a man of few words.
Hmm.
So, but
I'm a
this
girl of a
lovely
lot of
woman,
words. Okay.
this lovely queen before us is helping me with that. Like I want to talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel comfortable being around her and just,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Thank you.
bringing our brand to a new level. And so,
Yeah, for sure.
so yeah, definitely want to do that. And just give back more.
That part.
Volunteer more of my time in spaces where it's necessary, not just what I want to do, but just kind of get out of my comfort zone
Hmm.
and do things where that where God is leading me to be.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's
yeah.
something too, I think. If you notice from that one time I went to church, Um, I haven't like I've been trying not to stray away from. I can go every Sunday because
Mm,
you know weather time commitment and all the things, but I really try and intentionally go either every other Sunday because one, it be feeling good and it set up my week. But
mm,
when I made this prayer and I asked God to move me in the ways that He wanted me to be, He been revealing it and He been
mm,
doing it. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of things that's been not necessarily coming up against me, but when it do, He just knock them down. Knock
mm-hmm.
them down, knock them. That Sunday before court, boom.
Knock
What
them
I say, I
down.
said I'm
Yeah.
going to church. I
Yep.
got it's
And we
real.
did wake up late and we still made it. So it's
Uh-huh.
all about what you want to do.
That
Good.
intentionality,
Yeah, for sure.
you got
And
to
I'm
pour
glad we
into it.
went.
Yeah, and again, one of the things that I manifested was that I wanted a partner of God, right? Or I wanted a partner that was spiritually and divinely connected to
Mm-hmm.
a higher divinity because that is important. My child's father, he didn't believe in it, and I'm not shitting on nobody young, but for me, it was just like, you don't believe in nothing,
Mm-hmm.
like nothing. Life is giving you proof of existence and all the things, and you
Mm-hmm.
believe in nothing.
And that's okay,
And it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
But what I learned while I'm loving you, you
Mm.
don't love in anything, so you willing to jeopardize everything.
Mm.
Anything that I was able to build and do, and the good part,
Right.
you didn't want to associate yourself with that shit.
Mm.
And that was the lesson I learned. You know,
Right.
you
Okay.
gotta learn them
Learn no
lessons.
lessons.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And so yeah, so that's what it is. We learn the lessons all 2025, you know what I mean? And hopefully one of the best lessons we can learn is forgiveness, moving forward, moving to a
Hmm.
better future for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One lesson I feel like I've really learned that I'm gonna leave with people is that in this situation, I think having another reporter, podcaster, entertainer, I don't know what to call, speak on your life and all those things, and they having misguided information or not all the facts, it leads me to a new insight of like, now when all that shit I see online, I ain't got nothing to say about it. I'm gonna let people live their lives. I'm gonna let people be who they are. I don't want to hear about other people's
Mm-hmm.
business. That's not my problem.
Right, you know.
Somebody tell you about my business, please don't even. It's okay. Just let them have it. Like let people have their opinions because bloggers get paid off of that, y'all.
Yeah.
And society is loving this negative aspect of pinning people against each other, destroying people's character.
Mm.
Um, but what happens when you on that chopping block? When it's your turn to be criticized and all
Right.
those things. So, I that's my lesson I learned is keep my motherfucking mouth shut.
And mind your own
Your
business,
own
right?
business and drink
Yep.
your own water.
Yep, that's right. That's
Period.
right. Close us out, baby.
All right, y'all. So thank y'all for tuning in to the Maldives. We are your new black love trans couple
Ooh.
of 2025. We about to
Ooh.
bring y'all something so right, so live. Um But in the new year, we want y'all to let us know what y'all want to hear, what y'all want to talk about. We already talked about um, trauma and triggers,
Mm.
and now we're talking about the lessons that we learned. But we are projecting a really bright and healthy, joyful 2025. And so it's your girl, Miss Mouthy. Even when you what don't see me, you hear me.
And it's your boy, Mr. Mouthy. And even when you what don't hear me, you definitely see me.
Period. All right, bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Beat in your ear,